I thought I was doing everything right. I was eating clean, sleeping well, drinking plenty of water, taking the right nutrition, and yet for some reason my progress continued to stall. And this didn't happen for like quite just 1 or 2 weeks. This thing happened like for 3 weeks straight. So well, by now I knew something was wrong, and when I actually discovered what was wrong, I was actually quite surprised. And yeah, the way I actually found out about what I was doing wrong is also kind of hilarious. So stay tuned for that part. So well, the common mentality with which most people train is basically just train hard, eat hard, but most people just forget one thing: rest hard. But don't you get it wrong, my problem wasn't exactly resting hard. I used to take rest days. My basic split is push pull leg and then one rest day is included in that. So I always took one rest day, but the actual problem I was facing was I wasn't deloading. Now, those of you who know about deloading and well just want to get to the good part of this video may skip ahead a bit further in the video, but for those who don't know about deloading and are well interested in my story, stay tuned for that. So, what is deloading? So, deloading is basically, let's say, let me give you an example. So, let's say you're doing the push pull leg split, the push pull leg and one rest day. So now let's say you're doing push, you're going for a heavy push session, then you're doing a heavy pull session, and then you're doing a heavy leg session, and then you're taking rest day. Now this is your routine. Now what you do is for first 3 days, let's say you're doing this in a week. So the first 3 days of the week you do your push pull leg, a heavy session, then you take a rest day, and the next 3 days you do the same session, you do push pull leg. But this time what you do, this time you actually take lighter weight for your session, and well you focus much more on the quality of your reps. While on the heavy sessions as well you are doing your reps with quite the great form, but on your deload session specifically you are picking up lighter weights and you are doing your reps with much better quality. So deloading basically helps you with better recovery. Well, I'm not going into that part right now because I think the video will become too long. For now, basically, let's just say deloading is better for your overall recovery. So yeah, now let me just tell you the story of how I actually discovered deloading first. And later in this video, I will also be mentioning something, well, a great achievement. Well, not that great of an achievement, but yeah, well, a plateau that I just passed right now. All thanks to deloading. So yeah, but before that, let me just tell you the story of how I discovered deloading. So about deloading, I discovered deloading the word deloading specifically, not the meaning of deloading. So the first time I discovered the word deloading was around like 2 years back. That too, watched it on some YouTube thumbnail. I don't remember exactly who was the YouTuber, but yeah, it was just a YouTube thumbnail. I didn't even bother to click it. That's another story. But yeah, so basically, the first time I came across the word was on some YouTube thumbnail. Now, fast for 1 year after that incident. Now I'm doing my regular workouts. Then again on some YouTube thumbnail, the word deloading pops up. Now this time what I do, I don't click on the video again. I go on to Google and search what is deloading for workouts. So then Google shows me the basic concept like deloading is first you do your heavy sessions for 3 days, then you're taking a deload week. Basically you're doing lighter sessions for the next 3 days. So yeah, this is basically, or maybe a complete month you're doing your heavy sessions and then for 1 week you're doing light sessions and back to heavy. So yeah, basically this is what Google told me. And well, at the time I was like, why do you even need deloading sessions? I mean, like, every time you should train to failure, and rest days are specifically meant for recovery. Why do you even need deload days? So yeah, this was my mentality, which I later on realized. By later on I mean like literally like about a month ago I realized that well, this deloading thing is actually really important, and every professional athlete uses this into their own routine. Well, yeah, my basic mentality, like I had watched a lot of tutorials. Basically, I had watched golden era bodybuilders such as, let's say, Arnold. I had seen his advices on this. Well, not on deloading, but on workouts. He, well, always said your workout should go to failure. And well, every bodybuilder I watched, everyone said that every workout you do should always go to failure. So yeah, that's one reason I disregarded the deloading sessions. But yeah, I think I just took the bodybuilder's words well, just out of context, I guess, in this case. But yeah, anyways, that time when I actually found the meaning of the word, I just ignored it, and well, once again, I didn't go for deloading sessions. Now, fast forward to last month. So last month I hit a plateau on my weighted dips. So basically I do weighted dips on gymnastic rings. You must have seen on my previous videos if you are an old viewer. And for the new viewers on my channel, well, I do weighted dips on gymnastic rings. So yeah, basically I was doing my 18 kg dips on my gymnastic rings, and at that time I actually hit a plateau for like 3 weeks straight. Continuously I was just able to do, well, 18 kg for, let's say, 7 reps. Yeah, it was 7 reps. So yeah, I was stuck at 18 kg weighted dips for 7 reps, and that too for 3 weeks straight. I was so frustrated, I was confused, like, why am I not able to progress to more reps? So that's when, after 3 weeks of frustration, I finally just gave up on, well, continuously working hard, and I decided, okay, let's go to chat gpt. Well, yes, deloading wasn't the first thing that came to my mind. My first thing that I came to my mind was I will search for the, well, my workout solution on ChatGPT. So I went to ChatGPT. I asked, well, I didn't ask it exactly. I just told I do this routine, and then, well, what do you think is the problem and why am I plateauing? So, well, yeah, this is what basically I asked. So when I asked ChatGPT this, ChatGPT actually recommended me to do a deload session and explained why it is so important. So, well, after I read the explanations and stuff, I decided, all right, let's try deloading for once. I had kind of low hopes on deloading, and yeah, well, I basically just had low hopes on deloading. I didn't think that it'll actually work. So, well, yeah, I just did my heavy push pull leg session, and yeah, that was actually the time when I was still stuck with my weighted dips. So yeah, the heavy session went quite as usual. I got 7 reps with plus 18 kgs. Yes, so that is how it went. And then I went for a lighter session. So after the lighter session, one rest day. Now continue push pull leg. So the finally I'm back to my heavy sessions. So now I did my weighted dips. I did my first dip. All right, the first dip went good, and then two, three, four, and yeah, well, I just went on, and I actually ended up doing 9 dips. So from continuously being stuck on weighted dips with 7 reps, I actually directly did 2 reps extra. So yeah, that was one insane progress. And then you know what I did? I went on to 20 kg weighted dips. The next session, I got 7 reps with 20 kgs. I took, I decided I will take one more deload session. I took one more deload session. Then I again went on to my heavy session. This time I got 9 reps with 20 kgs. So basically, every time I'm taking a deload, I'm actually improving by 2 reps, which is actually quite insane. So yeah, this is how I learned about deloads, and this is how deloads came into my routine. Well, yes, I had to ask ChatGPT for it, but at the end, what works for one, well, it just works. So yeah, this was the story of how I included deloads into my routine, how I found about deloads, and well, I will also recommend deloads to you. But why do actually deloads work? So, well, I think if I talk about this right now, this might become quite a long video. I think it's already quite a long video. But yeah, anyways, so I will be explaining about why do deloads work in my next video. So, well, stay tuned for my next video. Make sure to like and subscribe this video. Yeah, well, this is the end of the video. I just wanted to share the story of how I discovered deloads in this video. And well, I hope you like the video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and see you in the next video.